Class 1, Division 2. Cases of chronic alcoholism not complicated by other symptoms, and occurring in patients having resumed habits of sobriety. G.R. Case 18, age 38, a general dealer, admitted December 20th, 1858. Has been addicted to the habit of drinking from youth till 11 months ago, taking from 3 glasses to a pint of spirits daily, and has had as much as nearly 2 pints of spirits in one day. His daily allowance of ale has been 4 or 5 pints. Never suffered from delirium tremens or any other disease, but gave up drinking completely 11 months ago, because he found it did not agree with his health. The symptoms he is now suffering from have lasted since then. These are great giddiness and headache, passing clouds and sudden blindness for 2 or 3 minutes, but no actual hallucinations. Cannot sleep at all at night. Trembles a little all day long, especially when moving about. Appetite very bad, no pain in the stomach, has an eczematous eruption on the face, has done no work since the 17th. On the 23rd December he was ordered to take 2 grains of oxide of zinc twice a day. He had so far improved on the 27th as to feel capable of returning to work. He suffered no longer from giddiness and headache, and the appetite was returning. He was now beginning to enjoy his breakfast, which he had not done for the last 9 months, and he slept a great deal better at night. R. Zinc oxide, 4 grains taken twice daily, and apply the following lotion to the face. Boracis SC.J. aqueous, 8 ounces. On the 3rd of January he felt quite well. I then ordered for him a mixture of liquor, arsenicalis, and carbonate of potash, and he called again for the last time on the 10th of January, when the eruption had nearly disappeared. W.H. Case 7, age 58, an emery sifter, admitted on the 9th of August, 1858. Upwards of 20 years ago he contracted the habit of drinking to excess. His favorite beverage consisted of gin, which he gradually increased to 4 glasses a day, and he took from 1 to 3 pints of beer daily. He admits that this habit has lasted during 15 years, but for the last 5 or 6 years he has reduced his allowance to an average of 2 pints of beer daily and no spirits. When 18 years old had syphilis, and about 20 years ago was attacked with fits, apparently epileptic, but which have not returned since that time. His present illness began 6 years ago. He complains of much giddiness, with trembling, sleeps a little at night, is then very restless. Frequently fancies he sees cats and rats, has thoughts there were rats on his bed. States also that on several occasions during the last 6 years he has rambled a great deal in his mind, and according to his own impression, people about him have thought he was going mad. Also muscae volitantes and an occasional sensation of choking. Had delirium tremens 2 years ago, and after an accidental indulgence, although he had then given up the habit of drinking to excess. He was first treated with a decoction of aloes and the hospital mixture of iron and quassia, from which, however, he derived no benefit. On the 11th of October 2 grains of oxide of zinc were prescribed for him, to be taken twice a day, and on the 14th the dose was increased to 4 grains. 18th, since the 14th he feels himself better. Sleep much improved, not so giddy, headache and muscae volitantes diminished, sensation of choking less urgent. Zinc oxide, 6 grains taken twice daily. 21st, has slept well for the last 2 or 3 nights, giddiness and headache considerably less. Has noticed that he feels sleepy in the day, and if he sits down to read, he falls asleep. He was never subject to sleep in the daytime until he took oxide of zinc. His own words are, "I got no sleep, or very little, night or day, before beginning the powders." He becomes sleepy about an hour after taking the medicine. Complains of sickness at night when he awakes. Appetite somewhat improved. Has completely given up every kind of alcoholic liquor, and drinks nothing now but tea and water. I advise him to take half a pint of beer daily. Powder pulverized, 6 grains, taken twice daily. 24th, improvement continues. Powder pulverized, 6 grains, taken twice daily. 29th, improvement remarkable. No longer any uneasy sensation in the throat. Very seldom suffers from muscae volitantes, feels stronger, although still weak. Powder pulverized, 6 grains, taken twice daily. November 1st, feels quite well, although still weak. The oxide of zinc was now discontinued, and I prescribed for him the hospital mixture of iron and quinine. 8th, feels stronger, allows himself 1 or 2 pints of ale daily. Patient now left off attending, but on November 30th I called upon him and I found that he had been gradually recovering his strength, that he slept tolerably well, although not so soundly as when under treatment, and considered himself perfectly recovered from his long illness. He took very little beer, say less than 1 pint daily. Felt quite capable of working if he had any work to do. J.L., case 29, age 24, a butcher, admitted on the 21st of January, 1859. Has been in the habit, during 8 or 10 years, of drinking port wine to the extent of a bottle a day, with a daily allowance of a half pint of spirits, but has seldom been intoxicated. For the last 5 or 6 years he has diminished his allowance of stimulants, and during the preceding 12 months has drunk no more than about 1 pint of beer daily. The first symptoms of his present illness showed themselves 18 months ago. He suffers from headache, want of sleep, slight trembling in the morning, and perceives at times passing shadows. He is very weak, especially in the hips, and complains of pain in the knees. To take 2 grains of oxide of zinc twice a day. On the 27th there was already an improvement in his health and the dose was doubled. On the 31st I took the following note: sleeps nearly all night and is much less troubled with nightmare, no longer any passing shadows, appetite improved. Pain in the knees and weakness in the hips about the same. Has a refreshing sleep of about an hour in the afternoon, feels sick after taking the powders. To rub the knees with turpentine, liniment, and to continue taking 4 grains of oxide of zinc twice a day. On February 10th, as he stated, he had suffered much from headache and giddiness during the preceding week. The dose of oxide of zinc was reduced 2 grains. Footnote: this was one of those remarkable cases in which 2 large doses of oxide of zinc have brought on symptoms resembling those arising from the disease itself. By diminishing the dose, these unfavorable symptoms disappeared. End footnote. Which he continued taking until he left off attending. The 24th of February reported the following note of his case: sleeps very well, appetite very good, is now only subject to a little trembling when taking active exercise, and is then obliged to sit down, is improving in strength, knees still painful. He states he has suffered for the last 18 months from his present illness, has consulted 4 medical men, and obtained no relief until he underwent a treatment with oxide of zinc. On that day a small blister was ordered to be applied to the knee. March 7th, strong exercise no longer brings on trembling, is free from every symptom of chronic alcoholism, and only experiences pain in the knee, is directed to return a fortnight afterwards. He called on the 4th of April and announced himself quite well, only feeling occasionally somewhat faint when actively at work. W.J., case 5, age 75, a shoemaker, admitted as outpatient on June 7, 1858. When a young man he became addicted to hard drinking, which he continued indulging in for about 12 years, when, after a sharp attack of delirium tremens, he adopted habits of sobriety, taking no more than about 1 pint of porter daily, with an occasional glass of spirit. About 6 weeks previous to admission he became subject to trembling. Since then complains also of headache, occasional giddiness, and slight hallucinations. Lies awake for 3 or 4 hours every night, but sleeps very well the remainder of the night. His appetite is bad, feels weak, and has been obliged to give up work. To take 2 grains of oxide of zinc twice a day. By the 14th of June, the dose of oxide of zinc had been gradually increased to 4 grains. On the 21st is a great deal better, although still weak. Sleep improved, headache diminished, complains of sensation of nausea occurring about an hour after taking the powders, and feels very sleepy at that time. Footnote: a blister had been applied previously to the back of the neck, but the date of this prescription was not recorded in my notebook. End footnote. 5 grains of oxide of zinc were prescribed to be taken twice a day. He returned on the 28th, on which day I took the following note: no longer any trembling. Sleeps now very well at night. Powders do not produce any sickness. To continue with 5 grains of oxide of zinc. On the 1st of July he was quite well in every respect, though still weak. He was ordered to take a mixture of iron and quinine. He called for the last time on the 5th of July. End of section 9.